Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. September 11th. This one's going to be rough for me to get through today, ladies and gentlemen, especially with the presidential election. Yesterday, what we had to witness and listen to yesterday, man. Oh boy, again. And we got some notes. I took some notes here, some talking points, because again, there's some things that we have heard about, we have spoken on this podcast, and again, we got to be careful, man. We got to be careful on some things. We have done a disservice, man, by falling into deception, by falling into corruption, by falling into some things that just should not be. And if y'all hear a little moving around, I just got to move the microphone around a little bit. My apologies. This is rough, y'all. Bearing false witness, man. Of course, the 9th commandment is that you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Okay. And we live down here on this planet. We had mentioned false witness before on an earlier episode. And a lot of this stuff, see, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that we realize, right, as a family. And again, y'all welcome in us, the almost 700 strong, right, who listen to this podcast and believe in a mindset called a different view, right? Shout out to Spotify for podcasters. I must say that, right? Because again, ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand that small business, we have to, and by small business, this big broad umbrella, rainbow-like terms that people use to hide behind things. We're talking about the everyday American citizen being able to own their own thing and not have to work for the man, as our dear black brothers and sisters say, or so-called black brothers and sisters say, right? We ain't working for the man, okay? Some things that galvanize the heart of those who lived, during the 60s and 70s, the end of the 50s, the hearts of revolutionary people again, go look at the word revolution before y'all start putting the violent connotation on the thing, because that's not what this is about. Again, repenting deals with revolution. And your Bible's already told you, right, that if my people are called by my name, will turn from their wicked ways, right? This is what we're told in Chronicles, ain't it? Since we like to quote it so much, isn't this what you're told? Let's just look it up real quick while we're here, right? While we are here. Okay, so this looks like it is 2nd Chronicles. Again, I don't put these things to I don't put these things to memory in that sense, because they're on the inside, y'all. The words are on the inside. I don't need to know the thing verbatim, because it's the heart of the matter that's hit and impacted me so. Right? So, 7:14, right? At a time of upheaval in Israel, like a time of upheaval that we had to watch and witness yesterday, that has been an extended time and period of upheaval on these lands since Europe came calling, then created what I call AKA Europe 2.0, which is the United States, right? The Union, that which Abraham Lincoln wanted to ship off the black folks so they could stop being such a disruption and distraction toward the Union. They're okay shipping out or shipping in, whatever they got to do, ladies and gentlemen, to keep the Union at your expense. We're just telling you to play. We're looking at history and telling you to play. You look at the Revolutionary War. You've heard me say it a million times, and I'm going to say it a million times more. Why? Because repetition is necessary for learning. And this is what needs to be taught in schools. While we had to listen to them go back and forth about a female's body. Ladies, y'all listen up very, very, very clearly. This is what it's about, man. Them fighting and arguing, no different than the slave. See, again, we got to talk about those who are the underclass, right? Chosen as the underclass on these lands. Of course, it's the so-called Negro, right? It is the female, and it is the child. Those three main groups. Now, mixed in all that are also men that aren't considered men. That's where you get this masculine, feminine thing from that has become highlighted lately with our transgender brothers and sisters, right? And this idea of binary and non-binary, again, trying to get away from gender norms because, again, they've been so misused, y'all. Because, see, again, you think from a Bible you're reading that has been manipulated by England and other places messing with holy scriptures, including those who just won't allow for different interpretations of the Bible as people see it, not because it's unholy or pagan or carnal, it's because there's multiple ways of us living down here. So we just went with one and told everybody that's the way it is. But like we have said about Run DMC's song, it's like that. Guess what, y'all? About many things in this life that's different than the quote unquote societal norms that have been placed on things. It's like that. And that's the way it is, y'all. So folks are going to love who they want to love down here. People are not going to want to be in the body that they're in down here. Right? You're going to have to get used to that. Okay? That don't make them unholy. That makes them giving an option given to them by the Creator, actually. Right? Because we all got, what do we have down here, y'all? The will to choose. If my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves. See, humility is missing, right? We have talked about this. Love is missing, y'all. Compassion, empathy is missing in the last days. I know folks discredit a lot of things. And again, Christians have been okay at being the cheerleaders for why you should discredit certain things. Right? That are spiritual in nature, so on and so forth. Because we don't know the fullness of something, right? Like our Bible tells us. That's why we need to be humble to learn as we go along here. But because pride has creeped in, which is normally fueled by greed. See, Christians who made up the Church of England had something to gain from being part of England. So you hooked your wagon onto that government and rode that damn thing all the way across the Atlantic into the Americas. Come on, somebody. And you started saying which native was wrong. Meanwhile, they had female-led societies here, y'all. You know this, right? I know we know a whole lot. We've been taught a whole lot of information, but do you know that, y'all? Female-led societies. Got a problem with our dear sister Kamala Harris possibly being Madam President. But you had female-led societies with our native brothers and sisters. You look at the different tribes. We're not look it up. Leave homework for people, man. This is a real thing, so that you know. It's real easy for somebody to tell you a bunch of stuff. This is why listen to that last night, everything what Donald Trump was saying, and of course people fact checking back and forth and all that kind of stuff. Come on, man. I mean, this ain't nothing new, y'all. What do you choose? What do you believe? We don't have to, that was one of the things they kept talking about was this idea of, well, it's the same old rhetoric, or, oh, she using my policies and all this. Guys, that's the name of the game from the jump. It ain't nothing new, right? Don't your Bible tell you there ain't nothing new under the sun? Then if there ain't nothing new under the sun, what does it matter who's using whose policy? Because at the end of the day, does it put more money in your pocket? We're talking about this opportunity zones or whatever that Vice President Kamala Harris wants to call it. So be it. Whatever you want to call it. It don't matter what name you call it. Is there money? Does the dollars and cents add up in your pocketbook at the end of it all, y'all? Because if it don't, then it ain't for you. Right? See, if the CEO in a time of COVID, in a time of, since they wanted to talk about COVID, and of course, this government led by Donald Trump, listen, you got intelligence all over the world to be able to siphon from Africa and cause disruption or stay away from Asia, right? You all over the world. Funding wars and mess. We did that Afghanistan mess where, again, they wanted to make sure that all of that, mentioning that mess, our dear military brothers and sisters, man, fighting to defend this sick soup, kept over there on purpose. Didn't matter Republican or Democratic. It's a bipartisan government, y'all. See, again, you've got to fall for the okie doke in order for them to take from you and rob from you. When do we stop doing that, y'all? Government is for the people and by the people. We need to start doing this thing humbly. See, those who will humble themselves and pray and seek my face. We got to get back in tune with this good earth, y'all. You so stuck on the plan, right? So we talked about this last time with me saying you and all that kind of thing in the critique. We get so stuck on plantation with massa, we done forgot about this good earth around us. We know more about big box or small box than you do about this globe. Because you ain't got the money to go vacation, right? You working that job as you're supposed to. You're staying there. You're doing your job as you're supposed to. We're not talking about where we talk about lazy workers, as Donald Trump had the time to talk about how many people he fired. See, again, another one of these tropes of masses that nobody's good enough to work on the plantation. And guess what? Because they got a horrible mindset and outlook on workers, nobody is good enough to work on the job. Y'all, that's a real thing. Look at your fellow workers around you. Ain't nobody good enough. Y'all all expendables, right? We like this. We like watching them movies about guys fighting, against them, even though a lot of them are old, like Stallone on there is too old. And who they have on that first one. I don't know if Jean-Claude Van Damme was on the first or the second one. Yeah, he's old, right? That's another thing. They carting out the old people, man. When do they get a chance to rest? I know we want to keep seeing Stallone until he can't throw a right cross no more as Rocky, man. But when do we stop, right? When do we just let it ride off in the sunset and on to something new? Boy, oh boy, man. All right, so let's get into some of these things here. And then we're going to let y'all go about your day. Because, again, what you watched last night was a bunch of mess. And really, we're going to tie in at the end with September 11th. Because shout out to New York one time, right? Just no different than Oklahoma, right? No different than all these different places where terrorism has gone on, including on these lands where the native and black folks could not walk around with guns in their hands, could not speak their own language, could not wear their own hairstyles, had to be made fun of for their skin tone, had their women abused. We're just going to say it that way to not be a trigger to some people. We'll just say abused. To create and birth new workforce people, we're talking about that real, y'all. Things that the Catholic Church, since we're so universally accepted. Yeah, you know what else is universally accepted? See, again, if my people seek my face and turn from their twisted, weak ways. Because again, we realize when you look at the word wicked, not just twisted, but bent and weak, right? Wicked and iniquity share definition terms, right? Then you get all of the goodies where I'll hear from heaven, forgive their sin and heal their land. But guess what, y'all? None of that starts. See, we're looking for Superman to come down and save us. That's not going to happen. You have got to activate first that which is already here for you. The American public has got to start running their government. Go to your town hall meetings, y'all. Go to these places before you sit there on November whatever and continue voting for whoever that's screwing you. Year by year, day by day. Go and make this thing, recreate this thing for yourselves. You don't have to storm a Capitol to do it. You don't have to do none of that mess, y'all. Right? Let's break down some of this stuff here. So, of course, some of the notes that I took here, Democratic opponent, new Democratic opponent. So instead of Joe Biden, right? Thank God we didn't have to listen to Joe Biden again. But see, everybody, y'all, and same thing with Donald Trump, right? Thank God it was somebody else that we could listen to, which clearly our dear sister Kamala Harris, which, hey, guess what? Guess what? It's proven, man. See, Barack Obama proved that you can talk to these people, man. The Republican Party going to have to deal with that if you want to have a candidate there that makes sense that we can listen to instead of talking about who's eating dogs over in Springfield, Ohio, man. Number one, and we understand, y'all, right? Right? Come on. We love our animals. We just finished talking about guide dogs and all that kind of stuff. I think I want to say something's going, yeah, guide dog. I believe this month is Guide Dog Month, right? Or Guide Dog Week, something like that, right? We love our dogs. But understand in the world, y'all, this is what they do. In the world, they don't look at dogs and horses and stuff like we do. Then again, we sit on our high horse, to rob a phrase, right? We sit on our high horse with horses, but then we race them, right? And we do things that are inhumane to them, right? All for money, right? For the love of money, right? Shout out to the OJs one time, right? We got to stop, ladies and gentlemen, right? Again, the two-step we doing is not cool, man. There's better dancing and two-stepping that you see on bar dance floors everywhere across this nation than the two-step we do in our mind concerning these thoughts and patterns and topics, y'all. So, yes, Kamala Harris, it was cool to see. Of course, she took her speaking cadence from Obama on many levels, which was cool to see. Again, it was good because it's a way to break down your opponent. Again, you're operating the truth or what seemingly is the truth on certain things, and a person that's normally talking a whole lot of mess, right? To not use too much colorful language today. We're going to try, y'all, right? So you keep him in check. Which, of course, Donald Trump had to sit there and say, see what you... And what was that whole exchange? What did I write here? Oh, I'm not finished yet. That's what it was. He took a lot of shots at this. But we're talking about talk your policy. I don't have to take shots at nobody to talk about policy. Guess what? If crime is too high, whether it has to do with migrants or not, that's all I got to talk about. I don't have to talk about whether or not somebody else is doing something. You just bring out the information. But all of this, there's another way of saying it, but all this slinging, right? All this mess slinging, we'll say it that way. All this mess slinging is a distraction, y'all. All of the government is a bipartisan group. Congress is two groups, right? Come on, somebody. Both are letting you down. As a people, you need to hold both accountable, right? This is why I say, regardless if you disagree as a Republican, if you disagree with the Democratic thing, and you know Donald Trump is talking some mess, don't sit there and vote for the Republican Party just because. Man, let them pick who they want. Vice versa. As a Democrat, we've been rocking it since Granddaddy was doing it in the '60s or whatever, right? Hey, let that go. If they're gonna keep telling you what they're doing for you, and they ain't doing nothing for you. Why you don't go over to the other party if you don't stop voting for these folks. Let them pick, and then on the back end, you as a citizen use your legal God-given rights to make sure your government is doing right by you. That's how this works, y'all. Stop falling for that okie doke about you ain't vote, you ain't got no say. No, I got say because you take my tax dollar. I got to say legally as is encoded because I'm an American citizen that I don't like what's going on. And then you start taking the certain actions to do so, right? As we have seen through history. So, there was something I didn't like with Donald Trump. He had a problem saying the woman's name. So at the beginning, they're constantly saying Donald Trump is what Kamala Harris was doing. Yet Donald Trump was using her. And just a lot of stuff that is the normal male-female rhetoric. To my ladies, man, to not mine, to the ladies out there, right? Our sisters, the life givers on this planet. When do you stop? This man talking all that stuff about abortion again. Start dealing with interpersonal skills if you want abortion to stop. Like, talk to our brothers. See, I know it's real easy, right? Because again, Adam did it with Eve. So the play is, nothing is new. Lord, the woman you gave me is the problem with. No. What about what you had to do after she gave you the fruit? Oh, we ain't going to talk about that part of it. Yeah, I know, because we don't talk about Bruno. And when you got wrong on the inside, you don't talk about the real, y'all. We skirt around it. Again, when you speak on migration and all these folks coming over and listen, the government gonna have to put in certain protections now. No different than, see, again, we it's like we skip over history. Ellis Island was a real thing, y'all, right? The stuff that happened in the 1600s with Europe coming here was a real thing. They brought over their own migrancy. Now what you want to do is, since time has passed, now we want to act like, oh, I don't know nothing, man. You know, come on, KJ, that was a long time ago, man. Times have changed. Ain't nothing changed but the date on the calendar and the dress you wear. Ain't nothing changed, man. So you switched up some rules and laws. You got a million amendments in your constitution to hide your sins. That's what all that's about. Okay. I know everybody like to look at it differently because you want to uphold that which is this. That's the distraction, y'all. It's time for change. Nations around the world change up their stuff, but over here in the United States, you just keep it rocking. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to get around this one thing real quick. See, whether policy means something or not, again, you know that all of it is fluff from both sides. The idea here, all they're giving you is symbolism. It's time to put a woman in office, y'all. Again, this is the opinion of the content creator. So again, what y'all choose to do is your business, right? The good God above has given us the choice to choose. So you pick, okay? This thing with COVID was horribly handled by the U.S. So either one of them saying what was let's not you can investigate everybody to the T, and yet you didn't know that a worldwide disease was coming. They hid it from you that good, then y'all ought to question your government as to how well they can protect you against how do they say it? Things foreign and domestic. Yeah, just saying. Let's see. Harris on the economy and the workforce. They brought up the workforce. Y'all want to bring up the middle class, which again, I understand another one of these distractions. Really and truly, when you look at middle class, there's no middle. It's variations of high and low. You either got $500,000 to your name every year or you don't, right? Don't put you in the middle because you're at 250. That means you got 250,000. See, again, variations of high and low, right? All things leading to, how did I write this note? All things leading to slight elevations or improvements, but nothing substantial. That's how this is going to go down, y'all. That's how this goes down. That's how it's been going down. See, the worker won't stand up on the job and ask for their rights in their legal God-given right. So you got no more overtime the way you should, or the way your parents and grandparents did, with less money on the table as an economy, right? Less they're lying to you about how much money the economy has. But nobody likes to question things. So you get nothing, right? Ask and you shall receive. Can't receive until you start asking first. Let's see. Trump and Harris back and forth on abortion was hard to watch. It was, it was kind of cool with Harris appealing to the female about the different things that the female goes through. The debate is up on Hulu, by the way, and they haven't taken it down yet. So if y'all want to rewatch it or watch it for those who haven't seen it yet, I suggest get to the first quarter of the debate. Listen to it, because they're going back on some mess, y'all. They're going back on some mess. So yeah, that was a little hard to watch. It shows how far they're willing to go to control people, because that's what this is coming down to. It's coming down to a person controlling their body, doing what they want to. Again, you have the responsibility. Kamala Harris is right. It's your God-given right, y'all. The idea is the response, and the government being involved in it needs to be minimal. It does. You need to support a person as healthy as a way of their being. Now, again, if you want to talk to me about how many abortions and the when and the where, again, if you want to talk about the 7th, 8th, and 9th month, again, you have these. I always pose this question to folks, and it's hard for them to get around. You want to have this baby and bring them in this world where education is not going to be what they need. They're not going to learn what they need to. So you're going to bring them in this world to maybe a crapshoot that they get a good paying job, right? You're going to bring them in a world where their health care is going to be small and minuscule. The government's already messing with Social Security. They done mess with people's pensions. They have messed with this stuff. This is what it is. Whether Democratic, Republican, liberal, conservative, left, right, I don't care what these words are. We're talking about the actions they've done. No matter which side, they have messed with your money. They have not put more money in your pocket. They've given you the illusion that they put more money in your pocket. Which one do y'all go for, man? I mean, which one do y'all go with? Him bringing up Marxism was funny. Again, you act like capitalism is so holy. Again, when you look at the definitions of the terms, which I've already gone over, go back and re-listen to some of the earlier episodes, especially on election day. Capitalism deals with the boss and what they benefit from their business, which they should benefit from their business. Communism, socialism, and Marxism all deal with what on different levels, all deal with what people, the worker, is supposed to get, whether they divide it amongst themselves or not, right? Again, the worker is supposed to benefit. You want to tell me it's a hybrid? You want to name it something new? I don't know. Capital socialism. I don't care what you call it. I don't really. The idea, y'all, once you introduce the workers into that thing, it's no longer capitalism. It's a hybrid. Because while the boss is making money, the workers got to make money too. Or else it would just be the boss is working, which is not the case, right? Your boss ain't the only one at the job with you, is he or she? Let's see what else we got here. The states on voting abortion. So this idea where the government plays this thing between the states and then the government, or the government and not the states, and back and forth. We saw that way back in history with the slaves. You left slavery up to the states to figure out. So of course the South is going to say they want it. It was not supposed to be a thing. And no different than this ain't about the states voting on this thing, y'all. This is about what is good for the people. The people have got to be voting on this thing, not state government. Some places want it, some places don't. Leave it that way. You don't have to put a ban on it. You didn't have to overturn Roe versus Wade. And this idea of a 52, 53 year long tearing apart of the country. This country been torn apart for a lot of it is because of your government, because of how they want to treat people, like the woman, like the black, like the children. They don't want them on the same. They don't want them at the table with them. They want them on that side table. You know how you have them family things, and you got the families all around the table. The adults are there, and the kids are on the other table. That's where they want y'all off. They want y'all off on the side. You don't count. That's a problem, y'all. Right? Because we count. I don't care what they tell you, man. Don't give a damn what they tell you. You count. Right? Let's see. How did I put this? Trump is right about migration. Illegal, legal. Now, the illegal part is every time they keep talking about illegal. Again, you go back into history, folks came over here illegally and legally. Then, when they got enough people to drown out folks who were already here, then they made it legal, right? The illegal thing is a play on words, okay? There's certain rights that you get when you come to this country. Again, Europe came here. They just came here. Hey, we here now. Now, of course, they needed the people groups of this land to help them, but this is what it is, right? And again, like I left a note here, look at history for the context. And when you want to talk about migration and stuff, just go back to history. And this country isn't changed. When it's time to drown out a new group of people, you bring new ones in. The European was the one in the beginning. And now you've got wherever it is, our Latin brother and sister. They're the new ones. Of course, along with like folks from the nation of India or Hindu people, right? Hindu is more of belief, but our Hindu brothers and sisters, right? Pakistani brothers and sisters. I mean, this is what it is. Doesn't matter where on the planet. So you just put in any nation in there. You just drown them out with new folks. Let's see. Anything they told folks in this debate was hogwash. I mean, yeah, it is. It is. Do not think either one of them you vote in is going to give you real. They're not going to give you the real for real. You probably get, if Kamala comes in, you probably get some of those tax breaks he was talking about. It may not be that full amount. It might be. But will it be enough to move the needle for you? Probably not. Because it's the name of the game. Somebody got to stay subjugated so the other group can benefit. Never mind. Will the economy improve? I fully believe that it will on some level. But again, on the level necessary to bring people to where it is, no. So you'll see some of these prices come down. You will. But is it going to be enough on the back end? Will they pay you enough money to be able to recoup some of the stuff lost? No, I don't see it. The stimulus checks need to seriously be put in the hands of people on a massive level. I'm sorry, y'all. They got money passing around for everybody. And then when you start telling people stuff like this, like, no, I don't want no handouts. No, you can give me your handout. Hey, that's all right. We understand you have the right to give me your handout, man. And we'll put it to good use. We'll put it to somebody who needs it, man. Seriously. Let's see. A lot of who's copying who's. No, she's just saying what I was doing, and I'm just saying what he's doing, and all that. Yeah, okay. Democrats and Republicans have been copying each other since the beginning, right? We've talked about this on this podcast. One was the other, and the other was the other. They're all, because again, all of government is one conglomerate. They just divided it up the way they did to get you off on the path. Congress and the the Senate and the House of Representatives both need to be in the favor of the people, not for their party. I'm sorry. That's what it is. Trump on firing people, that was wild, man. Like, how many people you want to fire, bro? How many people you have nobody left? And this is how some jobs you get on. That's how people think, man. You just got to fire everybody. No, you ain't got to fire everybody. Leave people alone, man. Help people or leave them alone. The misuse of the military, and this is where we're going to end on this, because I got a lot of notes here, but they ain't no need to be talking about all this stuff. They don't need to be talking about all this stuff. So we going to end here on this one, which is about the military and Afghanistan. As horrible as that was, y'all, there's some things we need to put to bed. Number one, everybody is not against the United States. You got a lot of nations that are against us, or against the idea of the United States. See, again, this thing was built in bloodshed and lies and deceit. The world sees that. That's not to say what they're doing over there isn't right or wrong. And the jealousy that was in Europe between France and Portugal, Spain and England still remains. It ain't went nowhere. It's just changed over years, but it's still there. So yeah, you got people who have an issue, of course. Donald Trump talking about that mess about January 6th not being his fault was total hogwash, by the way. And we got to stop this. Oh, that's outside forces. That had nothing to do with Donald Trump. No. This man has relied upon lies and deceit to build his empire in New York and to take it worldwide, clearly, as we've seen as president. That's it. Right? And they're making it okay for him to do what he wants. Now, again, that also is in line with how this nation is, because that's what it is. No different than our talking about abortion and them talking about that the three that they'll recognize. Not the pregnancy for the woman at the party that thought the dude was hot because she had 5 martinis too much, or vice versa. And then you wound up not being able to control your stuff and you impregnated that girl. Not for y'all. Not for y'all. Y'all don't get it. Y'all just have to make better choices as far as not being drunk, right? That's how that goes. No, we're talking about rape, incest, and health to the mother. That's the only thing that is recognized. See, again, this is single-minded stuff that's not necessary. We understand that those 3 things are very viable and very serious. They need to be readily accessible when these situations happen, because Lord knows, as long as men still think they're ahead of this thing, they're going to be hurting these women on a real level. That's something we got to realize. And gentlemen, we got to stop. We're only hurting the game they're doing that. And that ain't no simp talk. That ain't no alpha talk. Y'all stop acting like we're wolves and dogs out here. Who is alpha male? Where did this mess come up? You are male. She is female. You have gender traits that interchange because one was pulled from the other. So they interchange actually very easily, by the way. Male and female created he, God, them. We're missing it, y'all. Now, again, to each person their own. So we're not downing what people think on here, okay? But again, these are some things to consider. Shout out to New York in 9/11. That was a horrible attack done by ISIS, done by people who believe that a level of violence is needed on that level to achieve retribution of no. This is this stupid fight between black and white folks. White folks do mess to black folks. The idea they think you got to turn around and give it back to them. It was talking to him bringing up in such a disrespectful manner the stuff that went on in Minneapolis, that went on in Seattle because of George Floyd's death. But you won't talk about the police doing something horrible. We don't talk about Bruno. And again, to our dear black brothers and sisters, they got it encoded, as you can clearly see, to make money off your pain. Stop burning up their towns just because they burn up ours. It's time for righteousness to prevail. I don't need to burn up your stuff. I just want my stuff. There's a difference, right? So these are some of the things here, ladies and gentlemen. These are just some of the takes from this lovely debate, which hopefully they don't have anymore because again, it's too much hearing all this mess, right? That is what I got for y'all today. Thank you for walking this road with me again. Not every road is beachy sand with nice waves. Sometimes there's some rocks and gravel under your feet, right? But thank y'all for your support and listening to your boy's heart here on the matter of a thing, right? And until next time, and as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.